I mean, I would only just add that, we have spoken to people who have been sacked that used to be in content moderation, and we've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company. Is that
what hate speech are you talking about? I mean, you use Twitter,
right?
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
but just a personal anecdote, like what do you? I don't.
Personally, for you, I would see I get more of that kind of content, yeah, personally. But I'm not going to talk to the rest of for the rest of Twitter.
So you see more hate speech personally?
I would say I would see more hateful content in that.
Content you don't like or hateful? What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm
just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content. And I'm asking for specific examples. And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
don't. You can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a second.
My
you said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed.
You just lied.
What I claimed was. There are many organizations that say that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not, I mean, right, and
literally
if you look at something
one.
like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time. COVID misinformation. You changed the COVID misinformation.
Has rules. BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, and then it disappeared. Why do that?
Well, COVID is no longer an issue. Does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations? And not reporting on that at all? And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, so. You thought it wasn't?
I see now why you've done Twitter Spaces. I am not a representative of the BBC's editorial policy. I want to make that clear. Let's talk about something else. You want to talk about the BBC?
You too.
All right, let's talk about something else.
You weren't expecting that.
Let's talk about something else.
You know the fellow's names?
Well, I should.
Well, who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who is on first?
That's what I want to find out.
That's what I'm telling you, man.
You got a first baseman?
Certainly.
Who's playing there?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Yes, who?
On first base.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Have you got a contract with the first baseman?
Well, naturally.
Who signed the contract?
Well, now, you wouldn't expect anybody else to sign it.
But who?
Yes.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
He does?
Yes.
This is the arbitrator, this guy. is the arbiter of what's supposed to go on Twitter. He's the one he thought, and he used CNN as a guide. CNN, which is fake news. He uses CNN as a guide. His name is Yoel Roth, and he's the one that said that mail-in balloting, you look mail-in. No fraud? No fraud, really? Why don't you take a look all over the country? There's cases all over the country. If we went to mail-in balloting, our election all over the world would look as a total joke. It would be a total joke. There's such fraud and abuse, and you know about harvesting, where they harvest the ballots and they go and grab them and they go to people's houses and they say, sign here. No, it doesn't work out. Now, an absentee ballot, you can't be there or you're sick, and you go and you register and you do all sorts of things to get that ballot, and there's good security measures. But where they send out, like in California, millions and millions of ballots to anybody that's breathing. Anybody in California that's breathing gets a ballot.
But, Mr. President, that's not true.
So here, excuse me, wait a minute, I'm not finished. So here's your man, and that's on Twitter.
Dean is safe at first base.
Dizzy Dean on first base.
Do you like ball games?
I love him.
Come here. You know, don't say a word to Roscoe. You know I have a ball team of my own.
You have?
Sure. You know, they give these ball players nowadays very peculiar names.
Funny names.
Nicknames, you know, like Dizzy Dean and...
Brother Daffy?
Daffy Dean.
What's the fellas' names on the team?
Well, now, let's see. We have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I'm saying who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You know the fellas' names?
Well, I should.
Well, who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who is on first?
That's what I want to find out.
That's what I'm telling you, man.
You got a first baseman?
Certainly.
Who's playing there?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Yes, who?
On first base.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Have you got a contract with the first baseman?
Well, naturally.
Who signed the contract?
Well, now, you wouldn't expect anybody else to sign it.
But who?
Yes.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
He does.
Yes.
Every buck.
Every buck.
He gets every buck. Mm-hmm. Look, all I'm trying to find out is what is the fellow's name on first base.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Let's straighten that out. What is on second
I'm
base?
not asking you who's on second.
Who is on first?
I don't know.
Oh, he's on third. Now, we're not talking about...
How did I get on third base?
You mentioned his name.
I mentioned his name.
Yes.
If I mentioned the third baseman's name, who did I say is on third?
Oh, no, who's on first?
Never mind first. I want to know what's the fellow's name on third base.
But what's on second?
Who's on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third.
There I go, back on third base again.
Well, I can't help
Let's
that.
you and I stay on third base. Don't go off.
Well, what is it you want to know?
Who is playing third base?
Why do you insist on putting who on third base?
Now, who am I putting on third base?
Yes, but we don't want him there.
You don't want who there?
No.
So what's the guy's name belongs there?
What belongs on second?
Who belongs on second?
Who is on first?
I don't know.
Third base.
Third base. Now I'm back on third base again.
Well, I can't help that.
You got a pitcher on the team?
Naturally.
What's the pitcher's name?
No, what is on second?
Who's on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know.
Third base.
Look, I'm a catcher too, you know.
What do you mean?
I'm a catcher.
Well, what about-
I'll catch on your team.
Go.
The heavy hitter gets up.
So?
He bunts the ball. Me being a good catcher, I want to throw the ball to first base, so I pick up the ball and throw it to who?
Now, that's the first thing you've said right.
That's the first thing I said right.
Nah.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. Look, all I want to know is when I pick up the ball, I throw it to first base, who gets it?
Right, absolutely right. Naturally, if you throw the ball to first base, who is bound to get it?
I don't know. Third base.